How to accomplish our task of creating batches. To create a batch, go to the batch index page and click on the Add Batch button. After clicking the Add Batch button, a form will open in front of us. In the form, the first field will be to select the program for the batch. Choose the program for which you want to create the batch. The next field is to select the course. The courses related to the selected program will appear here. Choose the desired course. The next field will be the code. Enter a code for the selected batch course. Next, select the cohort for this batch. The batch will be automatically created in the selected cohort and the students present in the cohort will automatically get added to this batch. Next, select the teacher for the batch. The selected teacher will automatically get assigned to this batch. The subsequent field is for a custom batch title. If you want to give a custom title to this batch, you can add it here. Next, select the start date, which is the minimum start date of this batch. After that, select the end date. You can specify the start and end time of the batch sessions in the next field. Select the days of the week when classes will be held for this batch. For example, you could choose Monday through Friday. Next, choose the batch timings for the selected days. For example, if a batch is running from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesday and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday, you can add these timings. Next, specify the duration of each batch session and the sort order for displaying students. By default, the latest students are at the bottom. The next field is Use Student Username. Enable this if you want to use the student's first and last names as usernames. Then, enable Hide Student Email if you want to hide the student's email. Next, enable Send Email to Student on Add if you want to email students when they're added to the batch. Enable Show Student Badges if you want to display student badges. Next, enable Show Student Programs in Sheet if you want to show the student's programs in the batch sheet. Enable Show Result to Student if you want to show the batch results to students. Enable Show Marks to Student if you want to show marks to students. If this is not enabled, marks will not be shown to students. Then, enable Show Attendance to Student if you want to show student attendance. If you want to show the batch month-wise, enable Show Month-wise. If you want to ignore global holidays for this batch, enable Ignore Global Holidays. If you want to extend the batch days for holidays, enable Extend Batch Days. If any day of the batch falls on a holiday and you want to extend it to the next day, enable this field. But if you do not want to extend the holiday, disable this field. Next, check for teacher and student overlaps when creating the batch. If there is an overlap at the start time, start date, or end date, you will get an error. Submit your entries once you've finished filling out the form. If you want to show daily attendance for a specific day in the batch, enable Show Daily Attendance. If you want multiple teachers for the batch, enable Allow Multiple Teachers. If you want 2 sessions in a day for this batch, enable Enable Day Session. Then, you can add a specific daily session. The next step is to hide holidays if you don't want them to appear in the batch. If you want to limit the batch to a certain number of seats, for example, 40 seats, you can add that in the Max Seats field. After that, you can create the batch. After creating the batch, you can move to the next step where you can add assessments to the batch if needed. If you don't want to add assessments right now, you can skip this step.